What's good, boxing fans? It's your boy Nehemiah, and this is Boxing News. It's been a while. I haven't been able to make videos for a few years. Actually, I've had a lot of stuff I had going on, a lot of movement that I've been having to do, a lot of things been having to turn around. Anyway, the point, I've been sitting back for a while now watching everybody's videos concerning the Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fight. And I just wanted to give my thoughts. I saw a video by ITR Boxing. And when I saw this video, I had to listen to what they had to say because it was a very interesting concept that they had. And the concept was that Deontay Wilder should not have changed his team. And I thought that was very funny. I thought that was very funny because I was like, well, wait a minute. Why shouldn't he have changed his team? Because as far as I know, when it comes to the Bronze Bomber, that's pretty much the bulk of the argument that everybody had been saying for the longest, that he needed to, you know, get a different trainer, or he needed something. He needed something to mix it up in camp or whatever. That he all he had was the right hand, and he has no boxing skill. The consistent that we always hear. But anyway, what I found funny about this is I listened to the ITR Boxing's video, and he had another brother on there. I don't know who he was. I don't think he mentioned his name that I can be aware of. But I was listening to the points they were bringing out. And so he brought out the fact that, that Mark Breland and that those guys are the one who has been with him, since he, for 10 years or as long as he's been in the game, and that those guys would know him well, and that he thinks it's a mistake that he changed his team. And I started to think about all the other videos that I had been watching all the way up to this point concerning the third fight. And I started to think, I'm like, well, wait a minute. See, this is what the detractors, this is what they really want. They would have preferred for Deontay Wilder to not change trainers. Why? Because they would have known exactly what to expect. See, look, if Deontay Wilder would have never changed trainers, it'd be almost a foregone conclusion that he would come into this fight pretty much no different than he's come into the last two fights. And I'll give you my little quick take on Glovegate. I believe Tyson Fury did cheat. When Tyson Fury originally won that fight, I was shocked. I was very shocked. But nonetheless, I had no disdain toward the Gypsy King. And in fact, I thought it was a great idea when Deontay Wilder even decided to get Tyson Fury off the couch and get him back in boxing. I thought it was a great idea. That's another video I'll do at another time. But my point is, when Tyson Fury won that fight, I thought it was amazing, actually. I was like, wow. That's all I could say was wow. Like, Fury said he was going to come in here. He said he was going to walk him down, and he said that he was going to, knock him out. Now, granted, he didn't get the KO, but he did get the TKO. The fight was stopped. He got the stoppage. I was giving Tyson Fury all his praises. I was like, man, I just thought I just clearly thought Deontay Wilder got outboxed. That's what it looked like to me from the naked eye. I didn't see anything. I never, looked at his gloves in either fight at that time and thought that he had did anything wrong. I really didn't. And then all the stuff started coming out about those gloves. And I started to look at it, and I was like, well, wait a minute. The one that I've been watching boxing since the 80s. I was born in 82. And my dad was a huge boxing fan. And so he was in the military, and we used to watch fights, and he used to buy all of Tyson's fight because Mike Tyson is probably one of my top 5 greatest heavyweights of all time, to me. That's just my opinion. But still, I was a huge Mike Tyson fan. I was a huge Roy Jones Jr. fan. Huge Floyd Mayweather fan. I was a huge Costa Tszyu fan. Anyway, here's my point. So when I heard, the fellas on ITR say that, and and dealing with Glovegate, like I said, I was, I was singing Tyson Fury his praises about the fight. And then I saw the gloves, and I had never seen gloves like that in no fight. In no fight that I had ever seen since the 80s and all throughout the 90s, I'd never seen gloves like that, ever. And to me, that alone was enough to say something was fishy. If nothing else, something definitely was fishy with the fight. And then more evidence started coming out. And I clearly saw the glove where you could see Tyson Fury's fist print. You could literally see the fist print. And that for sure I knew. I was like, dude, I've never seen a boxer with gloves on where I could see his fist through the glove. Never. If anybody can pull up a fight where you can see the imprint of a boxer's complete fist through the glove, I would love to see it, because I haven't seen that since all through the 80s, 90s, and the millennium. I've never seen it. With that being said, I came to the conclusion, I mean, it's just kind of clear to me. I don't even think to me, it was a debate that he cheated. And so when I seen that, I just knew that there was gonna be some ramifications behind that. But then I started seeing all the things that the media was putting out concerning it, and they just acted like the gloves were, on the up and up. And I was like, nah, wait a minute. I said, you guys don't see what we see? You can't see what's on the screen here? I mean, to me, like I said, it was obvious. But back to my point, I truly believe that's what the detractors really want. They would feel much more confident if Deontay Wilder was coming back into this fight with the exact same team, because then they would know exactly what to expect. And I think Tyson Fury would too. I think Fury would love if he would have kept Mark Breland and all of them around, because if they did fight the third time, then I would agree. He probably would, even if Tyson Fury did, even though he cheated, I ain't gonna say did cheat or could have cheated, he did cheat that second fight. And he cheated in the first one, but I don't think he had anything in his glove, at least not in the first one. The second one, I don't know, because see, the first fight, I looked at the damage that Deontay Wilder had. All he had to me was he had some swelling around that eye. And like I said, at first glance, when I first watched that fight, I didn't think Tyson Fury did anything wrong in both fights originally when I saw them before all this stuff came out. I didn't think that he did anything wrong. But when hindsight's 2020, because when I started watching videos and people were showing the first fight and pointing these things out, that was the first time I noticed. I'm like, well, how did I not see that the first time? And I think what it is, I think we were all caught up in the action. When you're in the middle of a fight, I'm not saying that you can't catch it, but you're just, you're too busy trying to watch the round and you're trying to watch the round, score the round. There's so many things you're looking at in a boxing match. And so I just literally didn't catch it. I didn't. And when I seen that, that he actually cheated, here's what the conclusion I came to. Even in the second fight, I was like, okay, even though Tyson Fury cheated, I said Deontay Wilder cannot hang his hat on the fact that, hey, he cheated, so I can go back and just go back in here, say with the same team. I can just go back in here with the same team, whatever, and I'll fight him and I'll beat him. I don't think that would have been the case. If he would have came back in this third fight with Mark Breland with that exact same style, no changes, pretty much just, looking for that right hand, I think Tyson Fury can go in there without cheating, with perfectly good gloves, and I think he would defeat Deontay Wilder. And I think he would do it because in the second fight, even though he cheated, and I definitely think there was, whether he was hitting him with bare knuckles or if something was in the glove, I can't say. Well, I put it this way. I can definitely say he hit him with bare knuckles because I saw his fist. I seen his fist through the glove. So if nothing else, he definitely hit Deontay Wilder with a bare knuckle fist. If nothing else. So my thoughts were this. Okay, I was like, okay, well, even though he cheated, the fact of the matter of that second fight is Deontay Wilder was getting caught with the shots. There was a lot of dirty tactics by Tyson Fury, a lot of dirty tactics. But you know what? In a little bit of way, I'm not going to give Tyson Fury too much flack. about the tactics, the rough housing tactics, because people used to do that to Floyd Mayweather all the time, and Floyd found a way to overcome that because people started to at least feel as if that was the way to get to Floyd. You rough him up. De La Hoya was like one of the first, I ain't gonna say he was the first one to do that, but he was the first one to actually bring it out saying that's the way you're gonna have to go at it, you know. And so that's why, when it comes to Tyson Fury and the dirty tactics he used in the fight, I'm just not gonna be too hard on him on that. But the cheating is just inexcusable. The cheating with the glove, to me, that's inexcusable. But I'm not gonna give him, a hard time about the roughhousing tactics, because that's been used in boxing a lot. That's something you literally gonna have to overcome, which is why I say that if the Bronze Bomber would have came back into that fight with the exact same mindset, even if Tyson Fury does not cheat in the third fight, I think he would defeat him by UD, by unanimous decision. And I think he would do that because he would just clearly outbox him. He'd outpoint him. Now, I don't think that Deontay Wilder would suffer the damage he did in the second fight, and I don't think he would probably suffer the damage he did in the first fight. But excuse me, I'm sorry about that. If nothing else, Tyson Fury would just completely outpoint him. So I didn't like the fact that, I ain't gonna say I didn't like the fact. I didn't want Deontay to hang his hat on the fact that, Tyson Fury just cheated. That he has a point, he did. But I didn't want him to hang his hat on that, because that means he wasn't going to, make some changes as far as his defense, because he's going to need defense regardless in the fight. He's going to have to be defensively sound, at least way better than what he was in the first or second fight. So by him getting rid of Mark Breland, and I'll tell you right now, with everything that I've heard, I believe Mark Breland is guilty. I do. Because one thing I know, guys, I can spot a liar. I can spot a liar from a mile away. And Mark Breland went on a UK podcast, if I'm not mistaken, or it could have been an actual media outlet. And he went there and he said some things about Deontay Wilder. And we're clearly seeing a lot of what Breland said was not true. And so I got to take that the same way I take Tyson Fury. Fury always says a lot of things. They come to find out they're not true. So I believe there was some funny business with Mark Breland. So I'm going to completely side with Deontay with this, that Breland was up to no good. Now, when he started doing that, I don't know. But I got to agree that he was up to no good. So with that being said, ITR Boxing, by saying that he should not have changed his team, I think is this is what they want. This is what they would prefer. They would have preferred that he just stayed with Breland. Why? Because it guarantees that he'd go back in and lose. That's why. It's guaranteed. Because like I said, even if Tyson Fury would have came back into this fight and did not cheat, if Deontay Wilder would have had the same team, I still don't think he would have caught Tyson Fury clean with a right hand and put him out. Because I think Tyson Fury had figured out, he had figured him out. As far as like what Breland had showed him, he figured that out. And it was not going to work. Was not going to work. So with that being said, yeah, I see a lot of people talking, and they, of course, a lot of people are insulting Deontay. They're saying a lot of fallacies through the media, old media, by the way. A lot of fallacies are coming out about him, and those are coming out to be not true. A lot of boxing fans are saying that he's going to lose and that he has no chance. A lot of boxing commentators are saying that he's going to lose and he has no chance. But at the end of the day, I truly believe that Deontay did the right thing by hiring or making Malik Scott his head trainer. And I've been watching the videos, and you guys can say what you want. about, oh, you know, you can't really tell with pad work, and when he gets hit, he's going to revert back to type. I don't think so. And I can also see in that press conference, Tyson Fury, he didn't believe that either. He, as much as y'all say that Deontay Wilder regurgitates what his fans say, and that like the glove gate, and he's just regurgitating everything that they put out, which is untrue. That's exactly what Tyson Fury did in that press conference. He just regurgitated all the stuff that y'all said about him reverting back to type. That's what he would hope he does. He prays that happens. But I don't even think he believes that, because if he believed that, he wouldn't even have to say it. He could have just came in and just made a mockery of Deontay and let it be at that. It's not so much, it's what Tyson Fury said in the press conference. It's what he said to me. He would have preferred him come back in with Breland. He would have really preferred him come back in with Breland and have the exact same style, exact same mindset. Because like I said, then he would have known, like, okay, I don't even got to cheat. I'll just, you know, I'll just stick and move, you know, use my jab. You know, it makes sense to me. Like I said, if Deontay would have came back with that same mindset, he would have lost that fight by UD, this third fight by UD. I think pretty easily too. If nothing else, it'd have been 8-4, maybe 9-3. I think he was just clearly outpointed him, because like I said, at the end of the day with that second fight, even though Tyson Fury cheated, Deontay was still getting hit with those shots. He couldn't get out of the way of those shots. Now, Deontay said he was under, by his words, he said he was under some juju. I believe him. Something was up. From opening gate, you could tell something wasn't right with him. But at the time, like I said, I just didn't believe Tyson had cheated at the time. So that's why when he won the fight, I gave him credit. I gave him full credit. But I just want to throw that out there, man. Pay attention, because I'm starting to notice that a lot. But that video that I saw today by ITR Boxing was very telling to me. Like I said, they're coming out really, you know, they're kind of telling on themselves. They would be more confident if he was coming back into the ring with the same team. The exact same team, because then they knew exactly what Deontay Wilder to expect. They would already know from jump what Deontay Wilder to expect. And then all the things they've been saying about him having no chance and things like that, it would hold a lot more weight. But being to the fact that I've been seeing those videos, the pad work, the heavy pad work, you know, the body, you know, going to the body, his jab is more improved. In fact, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but a while back, Deontay Wilder had he had got a, you know, it was real short, but he had got a quick critiquing by Lennox Lewis. Like they, you know, and Lennox Lewis was showing him how he threw his jab. He was showing him how he threw his jab. And if you really pay attention, that's how Deontay Wilder is starting to throw that jab. He's literally throwing it the way Lennox was showing him how he threw his jab. And the key to that, to me, is the fact that not only the way that Lennox threw his jab, what made Lennox so great to me was, of course, his jab. But what made that jab so devastating is the fact that not only was it a power jab, but the way that Lennox threw it, he would gain distance on you. In other, I'll say close the distance. He would close the distance. So not only would he pop you with that jab, but he would be closer to you after he hits you with it. And that's something I think is going to be huge in this fight. Huge in this fight. I think Deontay Wilder is going to pump that jab, kind of like you saw him pump that jab in the Chris Arreola and Stavern fight, the first Stavern fight. He's going to pump that jab, but there's going to be a little difference in that jab this time. One, that jab's going to have pop, a lot more pop. It ain't going to be a little flick jab, or it ain't going to be something he's throwing out there just to find range. It's going to be a jab with purpose. And the thing about it is, Tyson Fury better be very, very careful, because like I said, what that jab is going to do is not only going to occupy you and hit you and put a little sting on it, but Deontay Wilder is going to be closer in range after he lands it. So that means he can unload rights, lefts, whatever he wants to do. Go to the body. He's going to be able to do. He won't be out of range after he throws that jab. Before, if you pay very close attention, under the tutelage of Mark Breland, he'd have the jab out there more for a range finder, or even when he did score with the jab, he was still out of range to really follow up a lot with the jab. But with this new style that Malik has implemented, I just truly believe that Deontay is going to go in there, and I think he's going to knock out Tyson Fury cold. Absolutely cold. Another thing that I want to point out to a lot of the detractors, I don't know if anybody has been paying attention, but I seen some videos from Leonard Ellerbe, and Leonard was very, very confident. I mean, you can see it in his eyes. He said that I forget who it was who was interviewing him. It could have been Ellie Setback. I could be mistaken. So if I'm mistaken, apologize. And anybody can correct me in the comment section. But I seen the video. He's made two, but one particular. When he was asked about the Wilder-Fury fight, the third fight, the moment he was asked how he thought that fight would end, it was almost instant, and his eyes lit up. And he says, I believe Deontay Wilder knocks him out cold this time. And I thought that was funny. I said, now, you got to really think about this here. Here's a man, Leonard Ellerbe, whether you like him or not, he's been in boxing for a long time. I'd say at least 25 years, at least. He's worked with the best in the business in Floyd Mayweather Jr. And I have to ask myself this. I had to ask myself this question. If Leonard Ellerbe truly believed Tyson Fury won that fight straight up, and Deontay just completely got outclassed, because I'm pretty sure Ellerbe has seen, or he knows what it looks like to be outclassed. And I believe, without a doubt, if Ellerbe felt that Wilder was that's the only thing it was, he was just completely outclassed, there's no way he would pick Wilder by knockout, even with the equalizer, even with it. The fact that Leonard Ellerbe is picking Deontay Wilder to knock him out cold, and say that with utter confidence. I mean, this guy said, I don't think you guys get it. He said this with so much confidence, as if he knows, oh yeah, this is how this is going down. Ellerbe is an educated guy. He's an educated boxing mind. Whether you like that or not, a lot of people might not agree with that, but I do. He has watched one of the best. He has been in the corner of one of the best. There's no way that he would make a decision like that just based off emotion. No, I think Ellerbe knows something. Now, I'm not saying that he's looking at it that, did Tyson Fury cheated or not. All I'm saying is, for him to be that confident, there's something Ellerbe knows, because there's no way that he would pick Wilder knowing good and well that he got completely outclassed and dominated in that second fight the way he did. No way. No way, no how. Ellerbe would have that would even escaped his mouth. He'd have just kept it real and just be like, yeah, man. He might have even told you, look, I hope he can win, or I hope that, maybe he can land a shot or something. No. He's clearly confident that Wilder's going to catch Fury with something serious, and it's going to put him down permanently. It's going to put him down. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because it's not just him. I mean, there's Austin Trout, if I'm not mistaken. Austin Trout, he feels the same way. I think it's somebody I'm missing, but it's a few boxers that they really see this. That's how they see it coming. They see that this third fight, that Wilder is going to knock out Fury, and I believe they're correct. For one, Tyson Fury will not be able to cheat. Those gloves will not have his fist print. Excuse me. You won't see his fist print in the glove this time. And if you do, trust me, I guarantee you, in the middle of a fight, something's going to go down. Whether it's going to be some fireworks. If any of those tactics, if that glove ever flops, if Deontay gets hit with something and he was like, wait a minute, that shot felt different. It's going to be some things going on in this fight, guys, that probably we ain't seen in boxing, as far as the rules go and enforcing rules. It's going to be some things go on. One way or another, this fight is going to be 100% fair. Nobody's going to come in here with all that. Now, I won't say Tyson Fury won't still try to employ those dirty tactics. He might. That's the reason why I said Deontay, it was the greatest thing for him to do was to, mix his training up, because he had to get some better defense. He had to, because regardless of regardless of what happened in the second fight, he was getting hit with the shots. Like I said, Deontay said he was under some juju. I believe him. So he didn't have his legs. So maybe he couldn't get out of the way of some shots. But at the end of the day, even in the first fight, I'm going to assume that he wasn't under any juju, and he was getting caught with some good shots even in that fight. So yes, I think Wilder definitely needed to switch some things up and get his defense way better. Now, I also love the fact of what Malik is bringing to his offense, and I think what Malik is bringing to his offense is going to evolve Deontay Wilder. Is going to evolve him. So I just think this fight's going to be a good fight, but I don't think it's going to last as long as people think. I think it lasts no longer than the second fight did, and I think Wilder knocks him out, and I think he knocks him out the way Ellerby says. I don't think it's just going to be a TKO. I think it's going to be a KO. If he loses this time, there's no excuses, brother. And that's for everybody. If Tyson Fury goes in there and those gloves look like they're on the up and up, and we clearly see Tyson Fury just outbox Deontay Wilder, we're just going to give Tyson Fury credit. So we're not going to run. We're not going to hide. We're just going to give him credit and let it go. Wilder's career still won't be over, regardless of what the detractors say. He's got plenty of options, plenty of people he can fight. I just believe that that's not going to happen. I think Wilder's definitely going to beat Fury. He's also only a 3-1 underdog. That also tells me a lot, because you would think the way that the media talks, the old media talks, that he should be, 7-1, 8-1, something like that. But for him to be a 3-1, that just tells me a lot of people don't really believe a lot of the stuff that they're putting out about Deontay Wilder. That's what that tells me. They're doing a lot of talking, but when it really comes down to it, they don't believe it. And it seems like the bettors, the bookies, they don't believe it either. They don't believe that Tyson Fury is just going to go in here like Fury says, and just run him over like a Mack truck. They don't believe that. So I mean, we can take that for whatever it's worth, man. Because all I'm gonna say is, even if this was betting odds, if any other boxer, if Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Roy Jones, if one of these guys would have went in there and absolutely obliterated somebody the way Tyson Fury did to Deontay in that second fight, the person that either one of those fighters had fought, if they were rematching that same fighter, I guarantee you those odds would be 7-1, 8-1, 10-1, 13-1. That's what it would look like. The fact that it's 3-1, he's a complete live dog in this fight. And they know it. And the detractors know it. And again, I'm going to state, what they hoped and what they wanted was they would prefer that Wilder changed nothing up, that he kept Breland, that he kept the entire team, and just tried to go back into the fight like that. Trust me, that's what they wanted, because that would guarantee them that everything they're saying about him having no chance, that would pretty much guarantee it. So that's all I got for now, man. I got some more of the videos I'm going to be bringing out. I'm going to do some good things with my page and get it up and running, and maybe get some live streams and things like that. But I just want to give a shout out to all the brothers in the LDBC, all the even it's a lot of brothers who are not even connected to the LDBC, man, and they have been doing great jobs of telling the truth on their channel, because that's what I'm about. I like telling the truth, man. I see a lot of people, they spin lies, and they clearly got to know some of these things are lies that they come out and say, but they still do it. And I always wonder why. I'm like, I wonder why. But then I thought about it. I said, well, money will do that. Some people, it's not about, the truth is about being first, and it's about money. So I think a lot of people are spending a lot of things just for views and to get a check from Google. I think that's what it is. But that's cool. They can that's their channel. They have a right to do that. They have a right to, put whatever content that they want on their channel, whether it's true or a lie. I mean, it's all entertainment, right? That's my son. But yeah. So that's all I got for now, guys. Like and subscribe. Please comment. Hit the bell icon. Like I said, I'm going to be bringing you guys way better content. We're going to be talking about the Spence-Pacquiao fight. I think that's going to be a good one. I'm a big Manny Pacquiao fan, but man, I'm riding with my boy Errol Spence on this one. I'll tell y'all that. I'll give y'all a little preview. I am riding with Errol Spence on this, but I am a huge Manny Pacquiao fan. I actually had Manny Pacquiao beating Keith Thurman, which I like Keith. I like old Keith. Don't duck me, son. I know it's my guy. I like Keith Thurman, man. I think he's entertaining. I think he's very eloquent when he speaks, especially about boxing. So I think Keith Thurman is good for the sport. And I really wish him and Errol Spence could clear up. I know how Errol feels, but I really would like to see that fight still. I really would like to see that fight because I think Keith Thurman can put up a good fight against Errol if Keith Thurman, done worked on his body, man, because I'll never forget that Luis Collazo fight. I'll never forget it. And to me, that was the first time I seen a huge chink in Thurman's armor, was in that Collazo fight. But yeah, I mean, I got a lot of other content I want to bring out. I want to talk about Showtime Shawn Porter, because I think Shawn Porter, I don't know why Shawn Porter's been sitting so idle, because I think there's some guys out there for him to fight. I would love to see a rematch between him and Ugas now that Ugas is the WBA champion. Would love to see a rematch between him and Ugas. I don't even know why Shawn ain't going after the fight. I mean, you've already beat the guy, right? Because I thought that fight was a little closer, but I still give Shawn the nod. I'll give Shawn the nod, and I'm going to give Shawn the nod because here's the thing. I give Shawn Porter credit, man. Everybody, kind of the same thing. Everybody try to say Shawn didn't have no boxing skill and all he got, he just rushes you and tries to, bully you and things like that. And I think in that Ugas fight for sure, Shawn Porter showed he can box. And he's an intelligent boxer. I believe without a doubt. I mean, anybody who couldn't see that, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, he did some great boxing. I just think that that's what made it a harder fight for him. I think that made it a harder fight for him with Ugas. If he'd have fought Ugas the way he fought Errol Spence, I ain't gonna say he would have stopped Ugas. I'm not gonna say that, but I definitely think he would have clearly ran away with the fight. So I would love to see a rematch between Showtime Shawn Porter and Yordenis Ugas. That's a fight I would love to see. And contrary to popular belief, I know Danny Garcia has not been stellar at 147. I mean, all the big fights that he's had, he's pretty much lost. He lost to Spence, he lost to Thurman, he lost to Porter. But I think Danny still got some fights out there that he can take. And I think Danny would look real good, in some fights that he could take at 147. But the last time I heard that Danny was going to move up to 154. I don't know how good he's going to fare there. There's some good guys at 154, man. My guy Erickson Lubin, he's coming back strong, man. I like Lubin. I like Lubin a lot. But like if Danny's been struggling at 147 against, Errol Spence, and that's not knock. Errol's top notch. Errol Spence is top notch. And so is Thurman. I still think Thurman's a top fighter, man. I just think he needs to fight. That's the thing. He needs to stop all this year and a half fighting. Keith needs to be more active. So, but yeah, I think Danny going to 154, I don't think that's the greatest idea for him. He couldn't put people down or even seriously hurt anybody with his left hand the way he did at 140 when he went to 147. So if he couldn't do it at 147, I seriously doubt he's going to be able to hurt anybody at 154. And I'll say this, a guy like, I'll tell you a good fight if he does go. I would love to see Danny Garcia fight Jason Rosario. I think that's a good fight for him to come right on in and get into some good competition against Rosario. Rosario has been stopped twice now to the body, and I think that'll be a good fight for him to go in, knowing that this guy is weak to the body, and, you know, use that left hand and catch him, you know what I'm saying, you know, put some body work in, and maybe later on, I think Danny can probably catch him, maybe, you know, maybe, but the top dogs at 154, I don't see it. I think Danny gets absolutely dominated by like an Erickson Lubin. I think Lubin absolutely dominates Danny Garcia. I don't think he has a chance, and I'm not even going to bring Jermell Charlo up, which, like I said, Jermell was tap dancing a little bit, but he's still the champ. He's still the unified champ, and he's on his way to undisputed, and I want to see Jermell Charlo be undisputed. I have Jermell Charlo number 6 on my pound-for-pound list. I don't know how nobody else on old media has Jermell Charlo not on their pound-for-pound list. But yeah, we're going to grow the channel, man. We're really going to grow the channel. We're going to put a lot of work in. I'm going to get a lot more educated on, you know, on the algorithm. I'm just sputtering my words today. So y'all, please excuse me. Y'all can talk about me in the comment section. Y'all can talk about me. I don't mind. I don't mind a little trash talk. It ain't nothing to it. It's entertaining. It makes it fun, right? But I want to see it. I really like to see this. I can't wait to see this third fight. I can't wait to see Wilder back in action, and I believe it's going to do it. I believe, like, very highly that Deontay Wilder is going to completely knock out Tyson Fury, and now whether that's going to amount or, you know, warrant a fourth fight, I don't know, because I think not. If Deontay Wilder knocks out Tyson Fury, I don't think there's going to be a fourth fight, because unlike Wilder was so adamant at trying to get the belt back and get Tyson Fury back in the ring, even have to take him to arbitration, I don't think Tyson Fury is going to do that. And like I said, if I would have known that if it was confirmed that he, you know, if I knew for a fact that he didn't cheat, if he was on the up and up in that fight, then maybe so. I believe Tyson Fury would rematch him, but I don't think he will, which is why I think it took Deontay Wilder to take him to arbitration, even to get him in the fight. Because I think Tyson Fury knows he's not going to be able to cheat. I mean, I think he's going to try something, guys. I don't know what, but I think he'll try it. I don't think it'll work, though. I just think that he's put so much of a spotlight on himself. They're not only looking for the things that he's already done, they'll be looking for him to do anything wrong. And I think that's where people, like a lot of people, if you're hanging your hat on Tyson Fury cheating, if he tries it, I'm telling you right now, guys, I'm telling you right now, the worst thing that could have happened is for Glovegate to get found out. It's the worst thing that could have happened to him, because it made it real hot for him. The whole spot is hot, is on fire, and now, like I said, he's under a microscope. So it really doesn't matter. I just don't think he's going to have an opportunity to cheat. He's going to have to go in here with the gloves on the up and up. I hope, I don't know if is there VADA testing for this fight? Are they doing VADA testing? And if they are, you know what I'm saying, I just think that Tyson Fury, even with the PED use, I don't think he's going to be able to use them, because there were also rumors about that. Vinny Penzianza, I believe, like I said, I'm sputtering my words here, but Vinny Paz, absolutely great fighter. Vinny was very adamant in a video that I seen from him about Tyson Fury being on PEDs and being jacked. And I think Vinny had a point. I don't see, Vinny ain't just came out of nowhere, I mean, and said that about people. He didn't just, you know, but when he saw that Wilder fight, he said he even tried to tell or warn Deontay. Said he tried to warn him. So, yeah, I see, that's what I'm saying. I watch things like that. What did Vinny Paz have to do with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury? I think that some people are just, you know, genuine people, and if you're gonna beat somebody, you're gonna have to beat them. And Vinny Paz knows what to look for. And when he saw that fight, he knew what was going on. He knew. So Vinny Paz was only saying what he was saying because he wants to see a clean fight. Now I know everybody's gonna say, but wait a minute, Vinny Paz was a drug cheat. He took PEDs. Yeah, he did. So even more so, he should know. I think Vinny Paz knew that, just like if he cheated somebody, or he knows it. So he's like, yeah, that guy did what I did and the other people do. You know, because I think it's a lot of drug cheats in boxing. I think this needs to be more talked about, because to me it was absolutely disgusting when it came out about Manny Pacquiao. And I'm not saying that Manny did it, because from my knowledge, Manny he hasn't failed a drug test. So that's why I said I'm a big Manny Pacquiao fan. But I did find it funny, you know, that people were pretty much saying, like, at that time when Floyd was asking for Olympic style drug testing, but they was like, well, it doesn't matter, we don't care. People were really saying that, well, we don't care, just get in the ring anyway. That was disgusting to me. And to me, that situation is no different than this situation with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. People clearly see these gloves. They clearly seen his fist in those gloves. They clearly seen the gloves flopping everywhere. But you got people acting like it never happened. And they acting like this was just any other boxing match, and you know, Tyson Fury's gloves was, you know, perfectly fine. And when, like I said, nobody can never show, I've never seen it. I'm just saying I've never seen it. So with that being said, man, like I said, like and subscribe, man, and hit the bell icon. And like I said, this is Boxing News. I'm your host, Nehemiah, and that's all.